So now we have a tiny grenade, and this one, I am a fan of construction of Enicar resin. This is spring loaded and only two hands. I cannot keep this one here and that one there. So this is always tricky. Let's try to grip the spring, and with underneath of this tweezer make sure that this is kept down. But it might join the Swiss space program. And there's no watchmaker insane enough to show this under a microscope. But so try to grip it, and there we go. With the underneath here of the tweezer I kept this bit down, and now there's no tension on the spring. That could easily have gone wrong. And this yoke, it is so shallow, so flat, that if I try to grip it with my tweezer, I make two beautiful scratches there and there, because you have to grip it, and I really don't want to scrape the main plate. So now simply Rodico, well, not simply. Oh, look at that! Oh, somebody some time ago made this tiny dent. Look at that. So it won't come out. Look at that. That's why I cannot grip it with Rodico. So in a moment, first I'm going to remove the other plate and the ring, and then I can try to go underneath with a tiny oiler. So now that one and that one will remove this plate, and then I can remove the date ring safely. Oh, that's sticky. Why is this wheel coming off together with this plate? I think we've got an answer. In a strange way, I am really enjoying this watch. But in another way, I do have to resolve all the defects. So in a disassembly way, or archaeology, I am enjoying this. But in an assembly way, I think, oh wow. All of you probably know how to hold this date ring, again like this, and if it's in focus, there, you can see it's not actually touching it's holding in the tweezer, so it's just touching the sides. So you're not gripping the printed part of the dial or the date ring. Well, this setting lever spring is very prone to cracking here. So I'm very happy that survived. There's a comment from Stephen: the date wheel is awful and I love it. For me, that is part of the history of the watch. So I'm going to discuss it with the owner, because I wouldn't mind on my own watch if the date ring looked like that. Wiggle, wiggle with a tiny oiler without bending the material. Or without breaking the oiler. There we go. Very happy with that. I think we've got the answer what caused this stud, because here we do have some work. Here is the GMT hour wheel. Patin, you're absolutely right. I know I can count on you. Here is the normal hour wheel. Oh, look at the markings from the... That's interesting. Then here we have this wheel, and then you can see it is a GMT because it got two. Is it visible? Yeah. I'm holding one pinion and there's another pinion. Well, here is the Canon pinion and the play is insane. And I use this tool. It's for cutting small springs, but it's got a nice grip. It was very loose. So I use it for removing this Canon pinion. And here we have, well, this is the root cause. Same with the barrel. This must be the root cause of the malfunction of the movement, but that is just insane amount of play. And do you see, and that makes me a bit sad, that they try to add oil to make it work again. Is inderdaad een veel voorkomend probleem, Peter. Ja, absoluut. And here is where the... They tried to solve it, but it didn't succeed. But did they add material? What did they do? This is where the ruby stud should be, but what did they do? Did they simply try to push the material inwards? We might drill this hole out, place in a brass plug and drill the hole again. Well, another tricky spring. Same trick, I'll go underneath, try to go underneath, there we go. Is this one riveted as well? I don't think so. Well, it's not a scratch, I think. It's just in the material itself. Well, here's the winding pinion, sliding pinion. Let's have a look on the other side. Or the oily Sherpa. There we go. Let's see what's underneath. This, you see this here all? This is when a watchmaker tried to put down this plate, and simply if you use a bit of pegwood you don't make these markings. So now he put down the plate with his tweezer and in his other hand the screwdriver, And if you just used a bit of packwood instead of his tweezer, you don't get these markings. And of course you watch this through the microscope. This is the camera, and you're watching this through my microscope while I'm working on it. So probably you won't see these markings, but it's so unnecessary. Industrial pallet fork. And there's oil everywhere instead of the pallet fork, but not the pallet fork. I'm still convinced every watchmaker is doing their best, and maybe with limited tools or limited experience. So I don't want to slag off any watchmaker, but this seems like an yeah, well, there's room for improvement. But then again, when we're finished, it's going to be because the model is so nice. So once we're finished with it, it will be perfect. Oh, here you can see another ruby post, the same as the one that came out. Here is the ruby still in place, but it is dripping oil, but for me it's overkill. It is nice, and it's increasing the amount of rubies in the movement, but it isn't for me too necessary. This screw is unblemished, and all the other screws are, well, visible that they've been used. So this one was never removed. A hockey hall of improvement. Yeah, again, with my disassembly head on, I really do love this movement, but I have to do the repair myself. So that's why I think, oh my god. Oh well. And now oh wow, this drenched in oil. Hey, interesting. Why is it so sticky? Rob, hey, leuk dat je erbij bent, man. Gezellig. Het is een Enicar, ja. But I cannot... Is it sticky because of the oil underneath? Because it cannot be a mushroom-shaped pivot, because it's ruby. Let's have a look. It is drenched in oil. And yeah, there the ruby is in beautiful condition, but look at that, it's just... It is an adventurous piece that is well put, tweezer wielding lunatic. Sweep a second wheel with pinion. Just look at this, it's insane amount of oil. I think it's a jewel. Remia, true. I'm going to do a quick disassembly of this part because I really would like to see if it's the jewel or the pivot that is causing havoc. The rubies and these pivots look okay. Seems okay. Now this one, yeah, I'll remove the spring. Now, was it the pivot or was it the ruby? Wow, look at this. There is worn and there is worn. We call this the mushroom pivot. It was the size as the lower one. This is worn. And there are still people questioning if mechanical movements need maintenance. Wow. So the pivots are both, the three of them are okay. And this one isn't that bad. I'll try to put them, this is how they should be. I'll try to put them together. Well, and on this bombshell, wow, plenty of work on this Sherpa Enicar, but such a lovely, beautiful movement and watch.